thank you all for coming today. I want to thank the media and my fellow colleagues, of course, on Flint City Council. I'd like to read this press statement regarding the City of Flint water source choices and analysis as of today, July 6th. As most of you are aware, City Council has postponed their decision on primary and secondary water source choices, stating that we have not been given sufficient information. The state hired and paid for consultant, Mr. John Young, has promised Council numerous times to provide the information we've requested, yet we have never received it. Since we didn't receive the promised information, in the beginning of June, I was forced to file a Freedom of Information FOIA request for these documents. These were filed with the City of Flint, the MDEQ, the State Treasury, EPA, Great Lakes Water Authority, or GLEWA, Karagandhi Water Authority, KWA, and the Genesee County Drain Commissioner. To date, the only original documents I've received were from KWA and the Drain Commissioner. But the GLEWA FOIA produced a very significant email and proposal sent by Mr. John Young to Ms. Sue McCormick of GLEWA. I provided you with a copy of this. The email said, please, from Mr. Young, please review the attached document that I threw together in the last 20 minutes and provide comments. I need to get this to the governor today. Thanks, John. Why is this significant? Well, look at the date, which is February 28th of 2017. And now read the document. Flint's future water choices. It lists primary water, Great Lakes Water Authority. Backup emergency, Genesee County Drain Commission. In the vernacular, the fix was in. The state had already decided, at least by February 28th, prior to any formal entity agreements and prior to any public participation or comment period, see the attached timeline, that the final recommendation would be GLEWA for primary and the Drain Commission for backup. On March 6th, a meeting was held at the request of Mr. Young with the City of Flint, comprised of the Mayor, Mr. Aoni Gilchrist, and Finance Director David Sabuda, the MDEQ, the State Treasury, EPA, GLEWA, Karagandhi, and the Genesee County Drain Commission. They were all present. City Council was not invited, nor were they aware of this meeting. At the meeting, Mr. Young presented his 8 to 9 water source choice analysis and recommended the option of GLEWA as primary and the county as backup. At this time, GLEWA and the mayor supported John Young's and the state's choice for water supply. The county drain commissioner, Mr. Jeff Wright, stated that if this is what the city wanted and if it didn't negatively impact Genesee County or KWA, he would work with them to try to make it happen. On March 24th, Mayor Weaver signed a negotiated settlement agreement with the concerned pastors that guaranteed the City of Flint would stay on GLEWA water. The only thing City Council was told about this agreement was that there were no financial impacts on the city. Council certainly thinks that a guarantee to stay on GLEWA has a potential for major financial impacts on the city. What the reasons are for all these deceptions, we don't know. We can only speculate. Please note, look in Flint's future water sources, the section entitled Benefits to GLEWA. Once again, in my opinion, the state and the Weaver administration are attempting, by fair means or foul, to usurp the rights of local government for local control. They have deliberately excluded City Council from any negotiating meetings, deliberately kept key information from us, threatened to withhold our federal funding, the state is the fiduciary, and ultimately had their state agency, MDEQ, file a lawsuit to get what they wanted. This has been in conjunction with Mayor Weaver's agreement in a civil rights action which guaranteed something she did not have the authority to guarantee. In my opinion, the state and the mayor have been dishonest in their dealings with City Council. These actions are abuses of power at its best and colonialism at its worst. The water sources choice is probably one of the most important decisions council will ever make. To that end, we are attempting to have an independent, unbiased analysis conducted. When we have all of the relevant information, we will then vote on the issues. Council is determined to provide the citizens of Flint with the safest, cleanest, and cheapest water sources we can provide. We refuse to be bullied or deceived or to saddle the city and citizens with a 30-year contract that has been dishonestly devised. Please note the timeline on the back of your statement. Thank you. Good evening, my colleagues.
My colleague, she is a very hard-working council person, does her homework. But if we look at the situation that was presented to you this afternoon, it smells. 20 minutes for a decision on the lives of people for 30 years. Remember the result. Let's not forget that.
Thank you. I just want to say to the residents that as a council person, I believe that the water that's coming from the Great Lakes Water Authority is safe and reliable, but I want the residents to remember that we've been on this water source since October of 2015, and still to date, they can't drink the water without a filter, and they're still using bottled water to cook and even to clean themselves. So I want the residents to recognize that for Councilwoman Galloway, and this, I can believe that I speak for my colleagues, until that safe and reliable water that we get from Great Lakes Water Authority gets into your glass in your homes, it's irresponsible for us to enter into a 30-year contract. Thank you.
Okay, I really want to say thank you for all the hard work that Mrs. Fields has done. She has brought many, many things to our attention. And if it wasn't for her continued investigation into what this has been happening to us, I don't think we would be as well informed. And like Jackie Poplar said, it does, it leaves a stink on you because you know that something doesn't feel right. When you're out there in the community talking to them, they come up to you, they don't feel right about it. So why do so many people feel this? I mean, it's a gut feeling. We've been treated like this before. Why do we continue to let them do this to us and pressure us when they, the state, is at fault for causing this for our community? We need to keep our eyes open. We need to be strong. We need to be together and getting a better deal for us that we're going to be happy with for our children. 30 years is a long time, but we got to make sure that the water is drinkable, it's quality, and affordable. Where is the affordable going to come in? We keep hearing about the rates. They just did a rate increase in the Detroit area, I think it was June 21st, and they are also under the Detroit system. So, you know, even though they say ours may go up, we know it's going to go up. But when is it going to come down? It's already been up and up and up. It's the down we're waiting for, and it's the money that needs to be paid back to these residents that they have been overcharged. Let's take care of Flint, but let's do it the right way. We started out the right way, trying to say we're going to take care of updating our city plant, we're going to get qualified workers there to run it, and now it's basically they want to take it away from us and not help us get those quality workers that we should. So we got to continue and fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
You know, we made this announcement April 18th, and before we made the announcement publicly, we had John Young going to those meetings to talk with council. We had our bond counsel talking with council. We had a press conference here not too long ago, and our city attorney gave you all of the dates that the council had been met with and who attended those meetings. So that's simply not true.
The council had a copy of a email that John Young sent out in late February, And they say it shows that as early as that, the fix was in, that, you know, the deal was gonna be the city goes back to Galila full-time with a 30-year contract. Was the fix in as early as February?
The fix was in when we made the announcement, if you want to call it a fix. So, you know, I really wish people would make up their minds, because previous to this, nobody wanted to go with KWA. People said we were wasting our time having these meetings and spending all this time in negotiation because this deal could not be done. And then we do it, and now it's a problem.
Mayor, in the letter from the MDEQ, and also it's mentioned in MDEQ's lawsuit, they referred to, I believe, the CDC Smith study, and suggest that the cost and the timeline to get the Flint water treatment plant ready would be up to $67.9 million in 3.5 years. And at first, your plan was originally to get the plant up and running. And I'm wondering if that was the timeline and the amount of money that you expected to have to spend to make that happen when you originally supported that.
Well, when I originally supported it was because we were led to believe we could not get out of this deal at all. That was the original line of thinking, was we could not get out of this deal. And we continued to press and say, let's go back to the table to see if there is a way for us to redo what none of this administration did. You know, and that's the other thing people keep forgetting. We didn't put this deal together. This was put together when we got here. And
right,
there was
the original KWA.
Exactly, paying $7 million for 30 years.
But
that was already there.
You did
and I
announce
did
it,
because,
okay.
I remember that press conference where I announced it, because we did not think we could, you know, change this.
Yep.
And we continued to say, there's got to be a way.
Was it your understanding at that point, is the question, was it your understanding that it would cost $68 million in 3.5 years to get it ready?
Well, we knew it would take a long time to get that ready. We did know that. And I don't know if we had the exact prices at that point. But once we got the federal money and we sat down again and said, okay, what would this cost? How long would it take? We knew that wasn't going to be a good deal for the city. We also knew that if we went that way, that we weren't going to have the funds to do the infrastructure for the rest of the city. And we also knew, and I think one of the things people are missing is, for us to do the water treatment plant, that means we're back with the KWA deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know where people think water's going to come from, but it's only going to come from either Great Lakes or KWA. And so people seem to be missing that point.
Well, how does the city move forward from this point?
Well, we said how we thought the city moved forward. We put a recommendation forward. We put the best recommendation forward. That's why I have Dr. Pugh standing here with me, because we talked about public health being the top priority, and that's not what was taken into consideration. The first time around, it was cost over public health, but we've made public health and cost the priority. So we've put our plan forward. We put our recommendation forward, and everybody had ample time to look at it. And these stall tactics are just that.
Another line that council brought up was in this email from John Young to Sue McCormick. It said that the plan was thrown together in the last 20 minutes.
That plan wasn't thrown together in 20 minutes. We've been working on that plan. We said we could have birthed a baby. That's how long that plan took to put together. It might have taken 20 minutes to put an email together. So if they can't read that and understand what it means, I can't help it.
Is there anything, without the council's consent, is there anything the city can do to make a final decision?
Well, like I said, we've done our part. We've done our part. And so now we'll have to see what happens.
And you got the federal lawsuit.
Exactly. That's where we are. So I know that this administration has done their part as far as what we were supposed to do.
Does the state have the authority to enforce the deal? And if so, would you support the state doing it over the head of the council?
You know what? I don't know what will happen. I know it's in court. I'm going to let it play out, just like I've let everything else that's gone to court play out. I'm not supporting anything over anybody. This was the deal we worked on. So people need to stop acting like the state came in here and they did all the planning. This was a team effort. This was City of Flint. And let me say that first. It was City of Flint because we were the ones that said, let's go back to the table. The state was there, Great Lakes was there, Bond Council was there. Am I forgetting anybody? I don't know. There were probably some other players at the table. The county was there. So we all did this, MDEQ, EPA. This was a group effort, but the city came up with this first.
In retrospect, do you wish that you'd invited the council to be part of
You know what? Council had been invited. We had 2 council members that were invited to the meetings originally.
Who?
We had the council president who was here, Carrie Nelson, and we had Councilman Mays. They were here at a meeting when we had the players sitting right in this room, and it ended up going just like council meetings go. And next thing we know, Secret Service is coming in here because a fight almost broke out. And so we couldn't get anything done. So they had been invited. And so that's why we went to the other way when, as we continued to meet, we sent somebody to those committee meetings and to those council meetings to keep them informed and in the loop.
Who almost got in a fight?
So,
Yes.
It's hard to figure out.
that's a good one too, but, so then, if I'm understanding, your proposal stands as far as you're concerned. City Council in the June 15th letter from MDEQ said the City Council should come up with their own plan by the 26th, I think it was, and they didn't. Now they have, if I'm understanding right, until September. What is that date from now until September allowing them to do? Come up with a plan, and if they do come up with another viable plan, would you be willing to?
You know what, we've been telling them that from the beginning, so people need to stop acting like we haven't asked for their input. We asked them, if you can come up with an alternate plan that's better, we'll take it. I don't care who has the best plan.
Right. So
I'm not here trying to look for credit. I'm trying to work with everybody and get the best plan, and we asked them over and over and over to give us an alternative. But instead, they just want to bash the one that's been put forward.
Right. I understand that. My question is, if they, by September, come up with that alternate
If they come up with
plan,
something, I think we'll all sit down at the table and look at it. We've always been open to that.
Mayor, still interested. Who was involved in the near fight? You were in the room, we weren't.
I know. All I'm saying is they were invited originally,
When was that?
and that didn't work out. Wow. It was at the beginning.
Yeah, that was brought up at council. Councilman Mays said that he was there.
beginning. Yeah, I can't
But that was before the
remember.
negotiations started, correct?
No, it was when we were sitting here having those conversations. We invited 2 of the council. But I can't remember the date, but it was
Sure.
early on, I will say that.
Would you say like maybe last fall or?
Do you remember?
It just seems like a long time.
Right, yeah.
Either
I don't want to
maybe
give you
the end of
any-
last year, the beginning